studios. This is Playoff Central Live, presented by AT&T 5G. Here with Isaiah Thomas, Steve Smith will be with you for all of the post-game coverage, the coach and player press conferences, as, of course, we'll be looking back at Game 2 and ahead to Game 3. Let's start with what we saw from Giannis, because he was undoubtedly the difference maker.
I saw Giannis do what they wouldn't let Trae Young do.
Yeah.
Get to the middle, get to the paint, dominate in the middle, dominate close to the basket, and he did it from the start of the game. And then he got a little bored and he was like, let me try my three a little bit. But for the most part, he was in the paint, downhill, coming at you, not settling, 2 feet in the paint, putting it on the floor, and that's where he's dangerous at.
Just a dominant performance, Smitty, as I look up and down the box score, dominated in nearly every statistical category.
Yeah, he did, and the Bucks did, and I like what Giannis did. It was not a lot of wasted movement. It was downhill. I'm going to spin. I'm going to get to the rim. But I thought also, I looked at the Milwaukee Bucks. Drew Holiday set the tone for me, Isaiah, on the point, guarding Trae Young. Not just because he shut down Trae Young, but when you get up and want to play like 84 feet close.
They limited his options. Break down what you saw as far as their team's defensive scheme against him in this one.
As we said, when you allow a point guard to play in the middle of the floor, we talk about elbows and boxes. And basically, the last on the side of the floor when a big guy like Lopez or Mikal and them are smothering you, because the sideline is also a defender too. So those big guys can get up on you, take away your space, and that's why we little guys, we like to stay in the middle, because when you get on the sideline, now they can pressure you with that outside defender in terms of the sideline, push you down to the baseline. The baseline is another defender. So that's what they were able to do to Trae, and that's how they were effective, and consequently they got 9 turnovers.
So typically the three of us will have a quick conversation either during commercial breaks or right before we come on the air, and we'll talk about what we're about to talk about to all of you. And when I asked you, Smitty, what you wanted to talk about, you said Bobby Portis. Why?
Energy. I mean, I thought he just had the crowd into the game, Isaiah. Numbers won't jump out at you, but I just think for him to not play on the entire 24-second shot clock, but maybe 5 or 6 seconds, a couple dribbles, and that's what I like about Bobby Portis. When you have a guy that's bringing that type of energy, it's contagious, and everybody gets going.
Who then can be or should be that guy for the Hawks as this series shifts back to Atlanta?
Well, you got to find a way now to free up Trae and get him back in the middle of the floor. What Milwaukee was successful at doing now defensively is they took him out of the middle of the floor and they took Capella out of the middle of the floor. So the lob, penetration that we saw and that we were used to seeing Trae and Capella execute, they wasn't able to do that tonight because the middle was closed down. So what they got to do now, Atlanta, is they got to find some way to move Trae around, get him moving off of baseline screens, then he can catch the basketball, penetrate, get into the middle of the floor. But if you're just having him come down now and try to get into the middle of the floor, they've cut that off successfully tonight. Will they be able to do that in Atlanta? We'll see.
Do you agree that it starts and finishes with Trae Young in this series?
It does, and I think he also needs some help. I think John Collins can be that energy guy for them. I think also, unfortunately, Bogdanovic is struggling with that knee, Isaiah, because he's the one guy I think, Kristen, that can handle the basketball, make some plays for himself, also be able to handle and get the basketball to Trae if he ran off screen. So maybe it's Cam Reddish, maybe it's Chris Dunn. I'm not sure, but they got to find somebody else that can break down the defense just to take the load off Trae, because right now they are loading up on Trae. Drew Holiday's putting pressure. Lopez is not in drop. He was up a little bit, and I think they're bringing the guy on the opposite side all the way over and daring him to make that skip pass all the way over. So they're shrinking the court on the Hawks and Trae Young.
And again, Christian Smitty, I know this from being a small guy. When the big guys, when they start huffing and puffing and moving around out on the floor and they extend their arms, it normally when I can beat you in one dribble, but when Lopez and those guys put those arms out and they long, okay, now I got to take 2 to 3 dribbles going east or west. But when you got your arms down and I can go north or south off of one dribble, That's easy. But when they spread out and I got to take them extra dribbles, that is difficult for me.
Right. Well, because they're not only limiting his options, they're limiting his vision of the court as well, which is one of the things that makes Trae as successful as he is.
Yeah, and then when they put their arms up, okay, those passes aren't as, those passes are up in the air. Therefore, the defense can help him recover. Can't make just, bullet passes. And by the way, sometimes when they would come down, they would just hit you.
That was louder for us than it may have come across on the screen. But for those of you who are joining us for our post-game coverage, let's go ahead and get to the highlights.
Before taking questions in the Zoom room.
You just raise a hand?
Yes, we'll start with Sarah Spencer.
Hey Nate, just what do you tell the guys after this loss? I mean, obviously y'all have been in the position of winning game 1 and then dropping game 2 on the road a couple times now.
Well, anytime you can go 500 on the road, that's a good thing, especially in the playoffs. We had an opportunity to get 2. We got 1, so we're happy with that. But there's another level that we have to get to where we are right now. You're playing for a trip to the finals. And they showed us that there's another level that we have to get to play at in order to win games and advance.
What do you guys need to do to get at that, to get to that level?
You're going to have to play harder. We're going to have to play harder. That intensity that they came out with, it wasn't a surprise to us. But they showed that there's another level that we have to get to. And they totally just dominated the entire game.
Next question, Royce.
Hey, Coach, how did you see them defend pick and roll Trae differently tonight, and how do you guys kind of try to counter-adjust to that in game 3?
Well, I think they just picked up the pressure, the intensity. They played with more sense of urgency. I didn't think Drew did anything other than stay focused on Trae, containing the ball, just being right there. We got to do a better job of screening when you have that type of pressure on the ball. So they picked up their intensity, their pressure on the ball everywhere. They just brought that to the floor. Picking us up full court and disrupting the rhythm of the offense with the pressure.
All right, Chris.
This was Cam's first appearance in quite some time. Where did you see out of him today?
Basically we was looking for an opportunity to get him some minutes, and he hasn't played in 4 months. So it's just you want to just get him out there. That's the first 5-on-5 he's seen, since leaving the floor. So really to just get him some minutes out on the floor.
What did you think of the team's ability to control the ball regarding the turnovers today?
Offensively, we were not good. I thought their pressure bothered us. They 20 points in fast 27 fast break points. It was just really turnover after turnover. We never really got into a rhythm or was able to establish ourselves on the offensive end of the floor. Good job of them pressuring the ball, pressuring the catch, active hands. They turned it up. I expected them to respond with this type of intensity, and they did. And we just was caught on our heels. And, they showed us that there's another level that we have to get to if we're going to have success.
Okay, Sarah, you had another question?
I was going to ask about Cam, so you're good.
All right. Jelani, if you don't mind taking over.
All right, we will start via Zoom with Jeff Schultz.
Yeah, you referenced the turnovers. Was that a matter of coming out flat? What was lack of focus? What was it?
Not executing. I don't think it was a matter of coming out flat. We didn't handle their pressure that they came out with. We knew that they would come out with more pressure and playing with a sense of urgency. getting into the ball. We just did not execute. 20 turnovers tonight. We really never got a rhythm offensively, never was able to establish ourselves on either end of the floor.
And following that up, I think Trae finished with maybe 9 turnovers. I know he had 8, I think, in the first half. I mean, was he just a part of that, or was he sort of behind the curve in that area? Or?
Yeah, he was a part of that. We all was a part of that. Again, 20 turnovers. They turned up their pressure, and we did not handle that pressure well.
Steve Hummer.
And looking at that first half and how well the Bucks shot in their offensive efficiency, how much was that on them and how much was on your defense? Do you know?
I think it was a little bit of both. We felt that we needed to be better defensively containing the ball. Even in the first game, they had some open looks that they normally knock down those shots. Tonight, I thought our closeouts were a little too short, and they were getting some of the same shots, and they were knocking them down tonight from the perimeter. This is a really good team as far as shooting the 3 ball, and they had that going tonight. So I think it was a little bit of both. Defensively, we weren't able to get enough pressure. Our closeouts were short. They beat us to the offensive rebound. So they won the hustle game. Just totally dominated this game tonight.
And can I ask you, after getting kind of blitzed in a half like that, what do you talk about the team at halftime? What do you look for in the second half? And did you find anything that you were looking for? No,
we didn't. And what you tell your team is you go out and you try to win that third quarter. You've had bad halves before, and the start of the third quarter you want to try to get a rhythm. And you just flushed that first half, and we just was never able to get a rhythm tonight. They pretty much controlled the game from start to finish.
McLean Baxley.
Do you think there were times tonight that Trae Young was trying to do a little bit too much? Coming off a 48, historic night on Sunday night, and do you think he was trying to, kind of dictate things a little too much there in the first half?
I think they did what they needed to do. They came out with intensity, a lot of pressure. We didn't execute as a group. That you have nights like that, and this is something that we just move on. We did a good job of getting one game, and now we try to go home and defend home court.
Davide.
Hey, Coach, you guys probably played your worst game in the playoffs, but as you say, you went to Milwaukee and win one game. What do you focus on your message to the team?
Well, again, we know we're better than this, and the message to the team is we got to be able to take that next step, raise our level of play. That sense of urgency that we've been talking about. That team showed us that they are a really good team, and there's another level that we have to get to have success against them.
Conference finals are tied at a game apiece. Coach Mike Budenholzer is at the podium.
I'm sure it's not always 1-to-1, but first half, 33 points on turnovers and offensive rebounds. He is led by 32 at the break. Probably not that simple, but what was the emphasis, I guess, on creating those turnovers, pushing the fast break, and crashing the offensive plays?
Yeah, we talk about being active and being competitive and being there for each other, and good things can happen. We don't talk about turnovers per se, to be honest with you. We talk about being solid, being active, having hands, and sometimes that is like when you're really active and you're really good defensively, then turnovers sometimes are just naturally happen. The competitiveness on the offensive boards, And I think to run off our stops, to run off our rebounds, is important for us. But it's not anything different, or we talked about this is what we have to do. We just wanted to play better, compete harder.
Along those lines, was that Drew maybe noticing that Trae may take a little longer on his follow-through and running out and maybe getting some of those fast breaks? Or was that something that you guys saw in film and thought you could take advantage of?
No, I mean, I think that, you contest threes, and if you take care of the board, if you get a good contest, sometimes you can get a jump start on anybody, no matter who the three-point shooter is, no matter who the defender is, and you got to take care of the boards before you can run. So I thought the guys did a good job of rebounding and having vision up the court. You got to find some easy ones, and tonight they were able to do that in transition.
But just what do you think of Brooks' ability to affect the game more? I know he came up a little bit in the drop. He was playing passing lanes a little bit more. Just what did you see from him that made it more typical than Trae?
Yeah, he's just, I think active, and he's got such a good feel and good read, in the pick and roll defense, and he was at his best, and that's what we need from Brook, and he just got great timing, great understanding of spacing, defensive spacing. He was just what we've seen a lot of nights, and like I said, we need that going forward.
I don't know exactly what you call it, but what do you think of his ability to juke or stunt or whatever you might want to call where he plays in between?
We just call it Brook, so yeah, no, I mean, he's, I think, try and stay out of his way, just turn him loose, let him be himself, and that's when he's at his best.
And then Drew had talked about being more physical, making it tougher. What do you think of his ability defensively to do that to Trae?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think having him at the point of the defense, having him, the guy that's got the bulk of, putting the front of our defense and, putting pressure on the ball, letting them feel us and still keep them in front, and then be able to rebound, as a point guard and do things there. So, he's unique, and, we need more from him the same.
Y'all had a game 2 in the last series where you lost big and then turned it right around and won game 3. With the veteran team you have, it'll be easy for them to kind of put this in the rearview mirror going into game 3 and not have any kind of false sense of security based on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just we got to have the right mindset. Going on the road, we got to win on the road, but you just gotta. You got to find those competitive moments. You got to dig deep, stay together. It's good. The road can be good for you. It's certainly a challenge, but this group's won on the road, and that's what we need to do.
Coming out of game 1, how many things did you feel like you needed to fix?
I just think like our activity. At times we just weren't as active as we needed to be, and so that's kind of an all-encompassing, word or concept and mentality. And, we'll look at the film and, you learn from things where you're not as good, and you learn from things where you do well. We got to do both.
Trae Young kind of lived in the paint the first game, whether it was the voters or finding his teammates. But today it was 9 turnovers and he had that success. What did you all want to do differently to kind of disrupt him from what he was doing in game 1?
Just be more active. Yeah, we needed everybody to be more active, and the guys, they were great. And there's a lot of length and athleticism, but, we got to continue to maintain that kind of defensive effort. You got to be able to do a little bit of everything. You got to be active. You got to get to shooters. You got to rebound. That's what it takes to play a good team like Atlanta.
And after game 1, you.
What? Okay.
Oh my God.
Y'all gotta show me these tweets before I have to respond on live television. That's just me.
That's pretty good.
And now I have to take the laugh out of my voice and tell you that Trae Young is addressing the media.
Right, and is that one of the biggest things that got y'all out of sorts in that first half?
Yeah, and that's all on me. I gotta be better at taking care of the ball and just doing a better job of just at least getting us a shot. And 9 turnovers is way too much, and I got to do better, and I will be better next game. So definitely a big reason.
Just kind of what's the mindset of the team now, getting to go back home? Obviously, y'all have been one-on-one in pretty much every series so far.
Yeah. No, it's exciting being able to go back home. We wanted to steal one on the road. We did that, and so now to go home, play in front of our fans. In the Eastern Conference Finals, it's going to be loud. It's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to just going out there, having fun, and playing in front of all our Atlanta fans.
Chris,
What do you feel like Milwaukee did differently tonight in regards to defending you?
They didn't do nothing too much different. They just played more aggressive. It was just more aggressive, and Scott and them allowed more to go tonight. So just got to be better and just be able to respond a lot better.
Did it feel like one of those nights where it just wasn't the team's night and it was just going to be one of those nights where you guys get blown out?
For sure. Especially as the game continued, we knew how desperate they needed this one. So as the game went on, it felt like they were hitting everything, and we couldn't get a shot to drop, and it was just one of those nights. And sometimes it happens like that. It sucks it happened tonight, but we got to be able to bounce back.
Royce.
Hey, Trae. Nate talked a little bit about how it felt like Milwaukee showed you guys that there was another level. But as you kind of turn this game to game 3, what did you feel like that you could do differently, maybe in the way that you attack them, whether it was the aggressiveness or?
Yeah, it's really just that they were just more aggressive. They didn't really change up too much of their defensive scheme. They were more in on their rollers, so the perimeter is more open, and I just got to make better reads. And I take complete responsibility for what happened tonight. Taking care of the ball is something I got to be better at, and I will be better at it. So it's really just they just upped their physicality tonight, and we got to do the same.
One other thing, it did look like they were a lot more aggressive with you, but you only drew 1 foul tonight, which is like the fewest you've drawn all season. I'm not asking you to say anything about the officials, but what was it that they were doing to be able to keep away from fouling you while still playing you aggressively?
Oh, a lot of it's more about how the refs are going to call it that night. It's just how they're gonna let them be aggressive, and they're gonna let them be aggressive, and they're not. And they're gonna call it the way it's supposed to be. Then it would be different, but sometimes it's called that way, and when they're aggressive and they don't call it, nights like tonight happens.
Steve with AP.
How soon in the game could you figure out they were going to be a lot more aggressive than they've been the other night? Was it apparent right from the start, or what kind of sense they were playing it a little differently in that regard?
I don't know. They were just the beginning of the game. It was just like that. So I don't know how to really answer that question. It was just kind of how the game went, how the flow of the first quarter, first half went, and it's kind of happened like that.
Back to Sarah.
Trae, just how good was it to see Cam get some minutes out there? Obviously the first time he's played in forever. Yeah,
I think that was, to be honest, our only positive thing tonight. Getting to see Cam back and getting to see him on the court was awesome, and he played great. He was aggressive. So that was probably one of, if our only, bright spot tonight.
All right, Jelani, take it away.
Okay, on the Zoom side, we will begin with Jeff Schultz.
Trae, I'm just wondering, it's pretty rare for you to be able to, or for you to be sitting on the bench for the whole fourth quarter watching the game. What's going through your mind during that period? Are you trying to figure out what happened? Are you thinking about the next game? Are you just trying to relax? What's going through your mind then?
There's a lot of things. I'm just trying to figure out how it got to that point, what I can do better for the next game, and just already thinking about getting back home to Atlanta and playing in front of everybody. Just going out and having fun. So I'm really just excited that we get to go home and bring a conference finals energy type atmosphere back to the ATL.
Nathan Addison.
Hey, what's going on, Trae? What's the difference in the physicality that you've adjusted to in this series compared to the previous ones against the Knicks and the Sixers?
Every series has been physical. The Knicks and the Sixers are two of the top 3 defenses in the league. Sixers had 3 all defensive players on their team. I've seen physicality from defenders all playoffs, and it's nothing new. So I just got to be able to respond and be better next game.
Raphael Haynes from the 3-point conversion.
Hey, Trae, after a game like this, what is the morale in the locker room, especially knowing the fact that they keep saying that you all stole one, so you pretty much accomplished what you wanted. So what is the morale after a game like this?
I mean, just understanding we get to go home and we got a chance to bounce back. I mean, all we hope for is a chance to bounce back, and we get one, and we just gotta be ready.
Back to Chris.
When you have a game like this one, what goes through your head to kind of erase this and act like it didn't happen?
Yeah, I mean, you can't erase it. I mean, you got to learn from it. I mean, every game, every loss is a learning experience, and it's an opportunity for you to learn. And tonight I can learn a lot. I can learn how to be better and taking care of the ball. And if I know we get a shot up, we got some guys who can make shots. So I just got to do a better job of taking care of the ball in this game.
Last two from Davide and then Maria.
Hey Trae, obviously this was probably the worst game that your team had in this playoffs. How did you turn page and look forward? What do you focus on from now on till Sunday?
Really, you just gotta watch film. I mean, as soon as you get on the plane, just as soon as you get back, really just watch film, see what we could have got better at, and make the right adjustments, and just be ready for Sunday.
Final question from Maria.
Hi, Trae. Despite the loss, how would you describe your team's collective effort throughout these two games against the Bucks? And how would you also describe the mentality that you guys have to step up and get ready, in this case, for Game 3?
Yeah, I mean, what was the first question? I'm sorry.
Oh, about your team's collective effort throughout this series.
Oh yeah, I mean we've been playing hard. We got guys that are banged up, and I mean when Bogey's out there banged up, playing his heart out, playing hard. Just shots just ain't going in for him right now, and I mean we just got to find a way to dig deep and keep fighting. And we've been fighting all series, these first two games, and tonight just wasn't our night. And sometimes it's like that. And we got to figure out a way to bounce back, and we will.
Thank you, Trae.